Hi everyone, Justin from the Nerdloft channel, back with another Magic Arena video. I wanted to cover a Selesnian Enchantments deck from the new Theros Beyond Death set that Merchant had put together. If you're not aware, he's a pretty prolific YouTuber in the Magic scene. Check out his channel if you haven't come across his stuff, but he had this awesome idea for a Setessan Champion based Selesnian Enchantments deck, and it looked just too fun to not play it, so I wanted to just quickly cover off the deck and play some games with it and see how we can pilot this deck if we manage to win any games or not with it. But overall, it's a Selesnian deck, so it's green-white, revolves around the Setessan Champion, which is a new card in the Theros Beyond Death set. Has the new keyword Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under our control, Setessan Champion will allow us to put a 1/1 counter on Setessan Champion, and we can draw a card. So when we're playing enchantments in this deck, and this deck is full of enchantment cards, we're going to be buffing Setessan Champion and gaining card draw with every enchantment we play, which is huge. There's a little bit of life gain synergy in the deck as well, and we're able to buff other creatures like Bronze-Hide Lion, maybe a Daxos, maybe Heliod as well. But Heliod is pretty awesome. It's a legendary enchantment creature, so it can become a creature as long as our devotion to white is less than 5. Otherwise, he isn't a creature, he just remains a legendary enchantment on the board. Whenever we gain life, we can put a 1/1 counter on a target creature or enchantment we control. And he has a 2-mana ability where another target creature gains lifelink until end of turn. So if we have maybe a Bronze-Hide Lion getting buffed with some life gain from Alseid, we can put the counter on Bronze-Hide Lion or put it on Setessan Champion. We can put the counter on Daxos. Pretty huge. We can go Angelic Gift, which will give one of our creatures some wings, and we can get some card draw out of it as well. But maybe we give wings to Bronze-Hide Lion, and we can just be swinging in every turn with some life gain with lifelink. We can be putting those counters on Bronze-Hide Lion, so Bronze-Hide Lion can get really big really quick. Bronze-Hide Lion in itself is a pretty effective 2-drop. It's a 2/3/3 creature for 2 mana, which is pretty great. And it has an ability where it can gain indestructible until end of turn for just paying a green and a white mana. And as long as we have another creature on the battlefield, when Bronze-Hide Lion dies, it can return to the battlefield as an aura enchantment, enchants another creature we control, and that enchanted creature gains indestructible until end of turn, loses all other abilities. So even once we're finished with the card, still giving us some positive bonus. So pretty nice card for 2 mana. Karametra's Blessing is pretty useful for blocks. We get +2/+2 until end of turn, and if it's an enchanted creature or enchantment creature, which is pretty much everything in our deck, except Bronze-Hide Lion, but we can easily enchant that with Angelic Gifts or Sentinel Eyes, which we'll get to. It also gains Hexproof and Indestructible, so that's pretty strong for 1 white mana. Sentinel Eyes is an enchantment aura that gives the enchanted creature +1/+1 and has Vigilance. Vigilance is super effective. Means that the attacking creature doesn't have to tap. So we've still got that creature available as a blocker next turn. It has an Escape ability as well. Escape is a new mechanic in Theros Beyond Death. where we can basically exile 2 other cards from our graveyard, in addition to paying its escape cost. So we pay 1 white mana, we exile 2 cards from our graveyard, and we can play Sentinelize again, effectively leaving play it from our graveyard, so it can escape the graveyard. Angelic Gift for some wings, so again we can give the wings to Bronze-Hide Lion or Daxos maybe. Daxos in itself is pretty useful 2-drop. Daxos and Helod all revolve around our devotion to white. So Daxos is a 2 white mana costing card. And Daxos' toughness is equal to our devotion to white. So initially when he comes out, if there's nothing else on the board that's white, we'll have a 2/2 creature for 2, which is pretty good. And he also has an additional gainer, an additional benefit of when another creature we control enters the battlefield or dies, we gain 1 life. So if we have Daxos paired with Helod, we're gaining life. Every time we gain life, Helod is giving us a +1/+1 counter, and we can continue to buff our creatures further. So all of a sudden, we can start to get Setessan Champion, Bronze-Hide Lions, maybe a Daxos, maybe a Helod. We can start to get them pretty big. I mean, I've even played games where even Alseid of Life's Bounty has just gotten pretty big with Sentinelize, maybe an Angelic Gift, depending on the situation, but we can generally get an Alseid up to like a 3, 4, or 5/5. With the lifelink, it's pretty useful. We can sacrifice Alseid of Life's Bounty as well for 1 mana, effectively creating like a God's Willing or even a Dauntless Bodyguard type of play, where we sack Alseid of Life's Bounty and the target creature or enchantment we control gains protection from the color of our choice until the end of turn. So if we need to block a big hasty or a big beastie guy, that can be really useful for that. We've got 1 Calyx in the deck, mostly for the -3 ability to exile target creatures or enchantments we control. So sometimes we'll go Banishing Light, which is kind of a better version of Prison Realm. When Banishing Light enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Banishing Light leaves the battlefield. So it's a 3 mana Prison Realm, but not only it can exile creatures, it can exile any non-land permanent. So it's a better version of Prison Realm for sure. But sometimes, you know, this might get I mean, it'll go off, but it's an enchantment, so Calyx's -3 ability kind of does require us to have another enchantment on the field for us to use that, because we do need to target one of our enchantments to exile that other creature behind that enchantment, or you know, when our enchantment leaves the battlefield. So it kind of gives us a round 2 or an additional attempt at Banishing Light. So that's the deck. Pretty fun deck. Let's go play some more games with it and see exactly how we go with it. Okay, so we're on the draw. I think we'll keep the hand. Play the plains. Now, we've got the Helid, the Sun Crowned. Karametra's Blessing. Pretty useful card for the block, giving us a 2-2 and indestructible. So we play the Helid here. We've got the 5... we've got the 5 Devotion to white, so that's enough to bring Helid onto the battlefield. We add the +1/+1 counter to Daxos. And we're swinging in for 7. Opponent playing the Biomancer. Can't do much with those... the Bronze-Hide Lion and Daxos on the field. Shark-Toe Crab comes into play. So we're going to pass the turn. Okay, so we have first Roan games here. We have Sentinel Eyes and Karametra's Blessing. Playing the Sentinel Eyes on Helid gives the Heliod Vigilance. And the first Rowan games comes in to create those creature tokens. The synergy between Daxos and Heliod is pretty powerful. So we're going to swing for 14 damage here. 6, that's 11, yeah, 14. Okay, we're going to get some blocks. So Shark the Crab is going to stay alive. Biomancer Familiar is going to die. So the opponent down to 5 life. And we get the GG. And they're done. Okay, so just not getting the card draw for the opponent. Let's move into game 2. Okay, we have the card draw. It's not a bad opening hand. We have a few mana sources, white and green. We have 2 Setessan Champions, which is going to be interesting. Setessan Champion, I'm really a huge fan of. That card art is from the Secret Lair set. I really like the angel art there. Okay, so we don't have any turn 1 play. We have the Karametra's Blessing, but we don't have any creatures to buff, so we'll play the Forest. Looking at it now, I probably would have played the Temple Garden and brought it in tapped. We'll play the Plains. Bronzehide's a good turn 2 play. Okay. We're playing a mono-red Cavalcade type of deck here with a lot of 1/1 weenie creatures to trigger that Cavalcade. Bronze-Hide Lion 3/3 for 2 mana is pretty strong. just waiting for the opponent here to do their thing. Okay. So we let this pass. The Cavalcade triggers for 1. They're probably going to shock and take the lion out for 1. Yeah, really should have just let that pass through. Pretty great card though, Bronze-Eyed Lion. It's got a 2-mana ability to gain indestructible until end of turn, which is pretty useful for blocking big guys. Alright, Setessan Champion, the first one will come out. Let's see if it survives. Our risk factor is going to target the face for 4. And we need to pay the 4, otherwise they draw 3 cards. We want to keep their hand to a minimum, so we take the damage, but we probably, in retrospect, probably should have just let them draw the cards. We have a Calyx here, so we can take out the Cavalcade of Calamity with the -3 ability to exile, but we need an enchantment on the board. We don't currently have that, so we're not going to be able to exile. Maybe we can go Banishing Light. Otherwise the Setessan Champion is coming on. Okay, so we have the Alseid. Alseid triggers the card draw from the Constellation for Setessan Champion. Whenever an enchantment comes onto the field, we get to draw a card and we get a +1/+1 counter. Okay, the Alseid dies to the shock. And another risk factor. So risk factor, we're going to let them draw the cards. We don't have the life to sustain taking another 4 damage. We're going to scry with the Temple of Plenty. No. I think we should scry. Put it away. We don't need another Alseid. The only benefit it would give us is the card draw from the 2 Setessans, but we've got plenty of other enchantments to trigger those, so we put it away. Okay. Calyx comes out and we do a +1. We probably want to grab the Daxos in this situation. We attack for 4. Okay, so they play the Dwarven Mind for the 1/1 token creature. The Dwarf. I think it's pretty close to over here. Unless they can stack a lot of 1/1 tokens or get some small weenie creatures out to trigger the Cavalcade. We should have this wrapped up. Never say never, though. Opponent plays a light up the stage. So they get their card draw. They've drawn a Chandra there. They probably, okay, play the second Cavalcade. They'll play the Chandra next turn, which is going to trigger 2 1/1 elementals. We need the life gain, so possibly play Daxos. Banishing Light, we're going to take one of their Cavalcades, and we get the card draw. Love that new animation for Constellation. It's super fun. I love how the cards just kind of swing over from the hand, from the deck. It's pretty fun. So we could exile the other Cavalcade, potentially. We end up going for a +1 to search for another card. We probably get a bit greedy with the card draw there. We should have probably exiled the other Cavalcade. Next turn we can exile. We have to discard now. We kind of want to keep everything. The Alsaid's probably the best discard. See, we didn't take the Cavalcade of Calamity. We probably should have, because now with that Chandra on the board, they're going to trigger some 1/1 elementals and do a lot of damage to us. So we probably should have ran the Exile from Calyx. Now we're getting a beatdown. Yeah, that was a mistake. We lost the match now. There's 3 damage coming. So there's a... We're down to 1. Yeah, we really should have exiled, so we died to the skewer the critics. So yeah, we could have survived that game by just exiling the Cavalcade. We would have been in a lot better situation. So, on to the 3rd round. And we're on the draw. We have 2 Heliods, a Daxos, and some mana. Turn 1 play is the Alsaid. We may be able to get a life gain. Daxos into 2 Heliods is a bit difficult. We have 2 Scry lands. Sentinel Eyes, we should put it away. For some reason we go with it. Should probably have put it away. So maybe this video is kind of like a watch of what not to do. Okay, so we're dealing with a Cauldron Familiar Witch's Oven combo again. A mono black sacrifice, maybe? We've just seen mono black so far. Bronze-Hide Lion, we'll probably keep that. It's a useful 2-drop. We put it away again. That's probably a mistake. We need the creature token. We need the creature cards here. So, okay, we end up buffing the Alsaid. It gets us beyond the Cauldron Familiar, at least. If we attack, they'll likely sack the Cauldron Familiar in the Cauldron Oven loop, like all of us absolutely love. It's getting pretty old at this point. They'll sack the Cauldron Familiar. Yeah. I really hate this combo, this Cauldron Familiar Witch's Oven. It's pretty boring, and it's been done to death. So, hopefully we start to see less and less of it as Theros Beyond Death meta evolves, and as more players start to play the new set. Okay, so we have a Murderous Rider, so I'm figuring if I'm going to sacrifice, it's not going to protect us here. That was kind of a useful play, useless play, because the creature's going to die to Murderous Rider anyway, and we would have got Sentinel Eyes back to play from the graveyard, so bit of a waste of time. Probably play the Daxos or Banishing Light the Witch's Oven. End up playing the 3 mana for Heliod. The Witch's Oven loop is going to continue. Okay, a white mana source. Probably play the Daxos. Play the Banishing Light. Next turn. Angelic Gift the Daxos gets our White Devotion to 4. And they just keep going with the Oven Loop. Okay, so we play the Sentinel Eyes again. That gets the Devotion up to 5, so we can bring the Helot in. We go Banishing Light now for Witch's Oven. That'll increase the Devotion to 6. As the enchantment stays on the field. And the opponent gives up. I guess they just gonna get sick of their Witch's Oven Cauldron Familiar combo. So we go on to round 4. Okay, this hand isn't very good. It's not too bad with the Daxos and Heliod. It's a little short on mana, so hopefully we don't get starved for mana in this game, but the hand is fine. So we got a Fable Passage from the opponent. We draw another white mana source, so that's going to be kind of useful. Probably play the Plains. Okay, so the Croxer comes out. We have to discard a card. Probably take the Karametra's Blessing. So the Croxer escape cost, I think, is pretty small. It's probably going to come out next turn, I think. A Clothis. Okay, we play the Shock Land. Probably we can't. We can Banishing Light the Clothies. Okay, so we'll have... That raises the White Devotion to 4. Helod gets it to 5, so Heliod will come onto the field. As long as we survive this turn. Acolyte of Affliction. Okay, so we grab a Scry land with the Temple of Plenty. Play that. Okay, so we gain life and we put a 1/1 counter on the Daxos. We go Scry. We put the Karametra's Blessing away. We probably should have Scryed that away. I don't know why we did that, but... An odd choice, anyway. Maybe we're kind of preparing for the big guys to come out, but... Okay, an Ashiok. That's going to mill our deck. Okay, bounce the Daxos. We lose the Devotion for Heliod as well. So Daxos will come back. we have to pay the 3 mana for the extra 3 devotion. Daxos is a double white, so that's gonna up it to 4. Karametra's Blessing is gonna buff for this turn. Yeah, we exile both of these. Okay, so that's enough to get Heliod on the board to take out Ashiok. It's kind of a bizarre play because I couldn't attack with Daxos that turn, so it's a little bit weird. This post-game analysis of these games, definitely good learning experience to pick apart where you go wrong and to sort of keep mental notes for next time. I'm definitely not a pro player, so a lot of key takeaways here are just be more mindful about what you're scrying, and with the scries, what are you keeping and what are you getting rid of. Look at the situation and just keep what you need. I just for some reason kept stuff I didn't need before, which didn't make sense. We're really trying to get this devotion up instead of actually assessing what's going on in the match. And now we're going to pay for it. We have a Niv Mizzet on the opponent's side. Very strong card. We don't have anything to play, so we're kind of screwed. An Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, comes out. Very, very strong card. I like how when it comes out, you gain 3 life and draw a card, and you can put a land from your hand on the battlefield. So that's pretty nice, and then he goes to the graveyard. But then when you can pay his escape cost and he comes back, so, you know, pretty sweet. Croxer comes back. It's 4 escape cost, so it's not too bad. Its initial mana cost of 2 is pretty cheap, so it's a nice early game card. Comes back later in the game. And we're going to eat 6 damage here. Okay, we draw another Centralize. We really have nothing. We're going to eat 12 damage next turn. So we GG. So we're down to 1 health. Opponent has 6 damage ready to go, but we take the damage from Croxer and we lose the game. So yeah, lots of key takeaways to learn from. On to the next game. Okay, we have the card draw. Not a bad hand. We're still a little low on mana again, but I think we go with it. We should be able to pick up some more mana. Hopefully top deck. Another mana source. Either color is fine. Grizzle Bears is the opponent. Okay, so we pick up a Scry land off the top. Turn 1, we don't have a play, so we may as well scry. We need the mana, so we may as well keep it. So here's a key takeaway here of watching this back is turn 1, rather than scrying turn 1, which you may actually pull something that you kind of need anyway, you may as well hold on to the scries until you really need them later. because we have a decent hand to start here. We kind of didn't need to scry, so that's a lesson learned. So the Dreadhorde Butcher comes out for their turn 2, and to Judith. The Butcher dealing damage is just going to gain a +1/+1 counter every time he deals damage to us, so we will need to deal with that threat somehow. We could Karametra's Blessing as a defense mechanism. Sentinel Eyes will give us a 4/4 to deal with the Dreadhorde, Dreadhorde Butcher. Okay, we swing in for 4. No blocks. Legion Warboss. So, playing this kind of Rakdos aggro deck. Okay, they're going to swing in for 6. We can't block. We can use our ability here. Okay. So we could have used... Bronze-Eyed Lion has a 2-mana ability, green and a white, that gives us indestructible until end of turn. So that would have been a cheaper play to defend against that. We had the mana open as well, so this hand we either Banishing Light the Judith or we go Setessan Champion. We can trigger the Setessan Champion with Alseid here, coming in as an enchanted creature, enchantment creature. So Bronze-Eyed Lion has Vigilance here, so they're unlikely to double block, so we go swing in for the 4. Okay, so Order of Midnight is going to return Dreadhorde Butcher. Okay, so decent board here that the opponent's got. So they got 12 damage, lethal damage coming in. Need to be smart with the blocks. Only looking to trade the Alseid. We get the one life gain from lifelink. Judith's going to take out the Setessan Champion. Judith's going to take out the Lion. So we've got a bit of a tough spot here. Probably the Daxos can gain us some life. We really shouldn't play that. We should Banishing Light as well, the Judith, potentially. We won't have an option for much else. Yeah, we probably should have Daxos instead. You live, you learn. Okay, Croxer's going to finish us off. We have to discard or we lose 3 life. So we discard the Daxos. Should have discarded the first Rowan Games. Underworld Ragehound, a very strong aggro card. Temple Garden. We can't pay the 2 life, we don't have the 2 life, so... we really don't have anything left now. So, the key takeaway on this game is, yeah, we really should have just been smarter with our mana and have more of a think about our cards as we're playing them. So that'll be it. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Really helps the channel a lot.